Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a story about a seed buried deep in the ground. At first it seems lost, swallowed by darkness and forgotten. But beneath the surface, something extraordinary happens. That seed, faced with the weight of the earth above it, doesn't wither. Instead, it pushes, it stretches, it grows roots. And one day it breaks through the soil, reaching for the light. That seed becomes a tree, a testament to the power of resilience. A woman who never gives up is like that seed. The world may try to bury her, but she refuses to stay down. She uses the weight of her struggles to grow stronger roots, trials that forge strength. Life has a way of testing women in ways that feel unfair. For some, it's the silent battle of balancing family and ambition. For others, it's overcoming heartbreak, loss, or rejection. But here's the truth: trials don't define her, they refine her. They shape her into a woman of unwavering resolve. Faith as the anchor. What keeps her going? Faith. Not the kind of faith that avoids storms, but the kind that whispers, "You will survive this storm." Faith is her anchor when the winds of doubt and fear try to knock her off course. It's the belief that her pain has a purpose, her tears water her future, and her persistence will pay off. Learning to rise after every fall. A woman who never gives up understands that falling isn't failing. She has learned to see her failures as teachers. Every misstep is a lesson. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. She gets back up not because it's easy, but because staying down isn't an option. And the power of community. She also knows she's not alone. Resilience doesn't mean going it solo. It means surrounding herself with people who lift her up when she's tired of climbing. She builds her tribe, people who remind her of her worth when she forgets it herself. It's defining her success. But here's the key: she doesn't chase someone else's dream. She defines success on her own terms. For her, it's not about fitting into the world's mold, but about breaking it. It's about showing up authentically and unapologetically, living with purpose and pursuing what sets her soul on fire. The legacy of perseverance. When a woman refuses to give up, she doesn't just change her life, she changes the lives of those around her. She becomes a beacon of hope, a living testament that resilience isn't just a word, it's a way of life. Call to action, becoming unstoppable. So to every woman listening, if the weight of the world feels heavy right now, don't quit. If the path seems long and lonely, keep walking. You are stronger than you think, braver than you feel, and more capable than you realize. Be like that seed. Push through the soil, rise toward the light. Refuse to give up, because your breakthrough is on the other side of persistence. And when you stand tall, others will see your strength and find their own courage to rise. Never give up, because you were made to endure, to thrive, and to inspire. Thank you. Imagine for a moment the strength it takes to stand tall in the midst of a storm. The wind howling, the rain pouring, and yet you remain firm, grounded, unshaken. This isn't the story of someone who has never faced hardship. This is the story of someone who has endured, who has weathered every challenge and still refuses to give up. There's a unique power in resilience, a power that doesn't always make itself known in the easy times, but shows up when the going gets tough. Resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. It's a muscle, one that strengthens every time you push through a moment of pain, disappointment, or failure. Resilience isn't just about enduring, it's about transforming. It's about taking what the world throws at you and turning it into fuel for your future. The strength of resilience doesn't show up in grand moments of glory or when everything is going perfectly. It reveals itself when you're at your lowest, when the odds are stacked against you, and when you feel like there's no way forward. That's when resilience rises up within you like a quiet force, urging you to keep going. It whispers in your ear, reminding you that you're made for more. It pushes you to rise when you would rather fall. And it's in those moments, those dark and challenging moments, that you discover just how strong you really are. This is the strength that every woman carries within her, whether she recognizes it or not. The strength to keep moving forward when it feels impossible. The strength to keep dreaming when it feels like those dreams are out of reach. The strength to stand firm when the world is pushing you in every direction. It is a quiet power, a deep-rooted force that refuses to be shaken. And once you tap into it, once you realize how unbreakable you truly are, nothing will ever stand in your way again. Every woman knows what it feels like to face trials that seem overwhelming, to be caught in moments that test your very will to move forward. Whether it's the weight of impossible expectations, the heartache of losing someone or something dear, or the feeling of standing alone in a world that doesn't always understand you, we all go through seasons that challenge the very essence of who we are. And yet, it is within these trials that true strength is forged. When life throws challenges at you, it's easy to believe that these obstacles are meant to break you. But let me tell you something powerful. Those challenges aren't sent to destroy you, they are sent to shape you. Like metal in a forge, your strength is formed through fire. The heat, the pressure, the struggle, they all serve a purpose. They refine you, sharpen you, and prepare you for the greatness that's waiting on the other side of your pain. It's in the moments of doubt and despair that you find out just how deep your resilience runs. You may feel like you're walking through a storm with no end in sight. But trust me when I say that these trials are not the end of your story, they are the beginning of your transformation. It's through overcoming the hardest battles that you come to realize just how unshakable you truly are. You become someone who understands the value of persistence, who knows that even in your darkest moments, there's a light deep within you that refuses to be extinguished. And let me be clear, these trials are never easy. There will be times when you feel like giving up, when the weight of everything is just too much to bear. But in those moments, you must remember that what you're going through right now is not who you are. It is simply what you are passing through. It may feel like the end of the road, but it's just the start of a new chapter in your journey. Every setback, every disappointment, every moment of hurt is an opportunity for you to rise again, stronger and more powerful than before. It is the refining process that creates the woman you were always meant to be. In the end, the trials you face become the very things that shape your character. They carve out the courage, the strength, and the resolve that will carry you through everything life throws at you. They don't just test your limits, they show you that you have no limits. And when you stand tall after every fall, you become an unstoppable force, ready to face whatever comes next with grace, grit, and the knowledge that you are stronger than you ever thought possible. There are moments in life when the weight of the world presses down on your shoulders so hard it feels like you're carrying more than can bear. The storms of doubt, fear, and uncertainty can threaten to drown you, and in those moments you might wonder how you can possibly keep going. But let me tell you, this faith is the anchor that will hold you steady when everything else seems to be falling apart. It's the quiet strength that pulls you through when nothing else can. Faith isn't always about seeing the way forward or knowing exactly how things will unfold. Faith is the trust you place in something greater than yourself, a belief that even in your darkest hour, you are not alone. It's in the moments when everything feels impossible that your faith becomes your lifeline. It's the unseen force that keeps you grounded when the winds of doubt and fear threaten to knock you off course. And the beautiful thing about faith is that it doesn't require perfection. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to see the full picture. You just have to believe that in spite of the chaos, there is a purpose unfolding for you. When you have faith, you don't give up when life gets hard. You don't crumble in the face of adversity. Instead, you stand firm, knowing that your purpose is bigger than your problems. Faith doesn't promise that the journey will be easy. It promises that you will have the strength to endure whatever comes your way. It's the belief that even when you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, the light is still there waiting for you. And sometimes faith doesn't come with grand gestures or miraculous signs. Sometimes it's just a whisper in your heart telling you to keep moving forward when everything else is urging you to stop. It's the courage to take that one more step when the path is unclear. It's the conviction that you are being guided even when the road is rough and even when the outcome is uncertain. Faith is not just believing that things will get better, it's knowing that you have the power to handle whatever comes next because you are not walking this journey alone. In those moments of doubt, when the voices around you are loud and the fears within you are even louder, faith is the stillness that reminds you that there is a greater plan at work. It is the assurance that no matter how stormy the sea gets, you will not be swept away. You will rise above it because you have the anchor of faith to keep you steady, to keep you rooted in your truth, and to remind you that this too shall pass. Faith is the unwavering belief that you are stronger than the challenges in front of you, and that with each step you take, you are becoming the woman you were always meant to be. There's a certain strength that comes from knowing how to rise, not just when things are easy, but when life knocks you down. It's easy to keep going when everything is flowing in your favor, but true power is found in those moments when you've stumbled, when you've failed, or when you've been hurt in ways that make you question if you should even try again. And yet, it is precisely in those moments that your greatest strength is born. You see, falling doesn't define you, it's how you rise that shapes your story. Everyone falls. Everyone faces moments of failure or loss. The key is not letting those falls break you. They are part of your journey, and they do not have the power to hold you back unless you let them. In fact, it is in those moments of getting up after falling that you begin to truly understand your resilience. Every time you rise, you grow stronger. You develop the ability to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward no matter how many times you stumble. The hardest part isn't the fall, it's the belief that you can get back up again. It's the fear that you might not have the strength, the courage, or the will to keep going. But that's where the magic happens, because when you rise, you don't just rise from the fall, you rise with wisdom, with a deeper sense of purpose, with a clearer understanding of who you are and what you're capable of. The lessons you learn from falling about your own capacity for endurance, your ability to heal, and your deep well of inner strength are what transform you into the woman you're destined to be. Each time you rise, you become more confident in your own power. You begin to trust in your ability to overcome, even when it seems impossible. And over time, you learn that no fall is ever truly final. Even when life knocks you down, you understand that there's always a chance to get back up. Your past failures don't dictate your future success. Instead, they become the foundation on which you build your greatest victories. There's no shame in falling. Falling is part of the process, but the courage to rise again and again is what makes you unstoppable. It is the constant determination to keep going, to never let a setback define you, that truly shapes your destiny. Every time you rise, you do it with more strength, more wisdom, and a deeper understanding of your true worth. And that is the kind of power that can never be taken from you. There is an undeniable power that comes from being surrounded by the right people, by a community that lifts you up, supports you, and reminds you of who you are when you forget. Too often, we think that we must face life's challenges alone, that we should be able to handle everything on our own, that seeking help or leaning on others is a sign of weakness. But the truth is, the greatest strength often comes from allowing yourself to be supported by those around you. Community isn't just a luxury, it's essential to your growth, your healing, and your success. When you walk through life surrounded by a community that believes in you, even on the days when you can't seem to believe in yourself, you begin to realize that you are never truly alone. There's a deep power in knowing that others see your potential, even when you're struggling to see it yourself. They are the ones who remind you of your worth when doubt clouds your mind, who hold space for you when you feel like you've given all you have. They cheer for your victories, and they're there to help pick you up when you fall. In the presence of people who care, who genuinely want to see you succeed, you become stronger, more resilient, and more capable of reaching your dreams. In moments of struggle, we often try to isolate ourselves, convinced that no one could possibly understand our pain or our fears. But the power of community lies in its ability to show us that we are not alone. There is strength in sharing our burdens and finding solace in the understanding of others who have walked similar paths or who simply show up for us with open hearts. It's in these connections that we find healing and the courage to keep moving forward. We discover that our individual struggles are not isolating, they are shared, they are understood, and we are supported through them. Community isn't just about being surrounded by others, it's about the kind of people who are there for you in meaningful ways. The ones who challenge you to be better, who help you see your blind spots, who push you to grow in ways that you might not have thought possible. True community encourages you to step into the fullness of who you are and to rise to the potential that is within you. These are the relationships that shape you, that mold you into the person you are meant to be. And let's not forget the power of what you bring to your community. Every person, every story, every struggle and triumph contributes to the collective strength of the group. When you show up authentically, when you allow yourself to be vulnerable and open, you give others the freedom to do the same. In return, you receive not only the support you need, but also the opportunity to give back, to serve, to empower, and to build others up as they have built you up. In a world that often encourages us to go it alone, the power of community reminds us that we are stronger together. It teaches us that we are not just individuals in this journey, but part of something much greater. The collective energy, love, and support of the right people can help us rise higher, dream bigger, and become the best version of ourselves. So lean into your community. Embrace the power of connection and allow yourself to both give and receive the incredible strength that comes from being a part of something larger than yourself. There comes a moment in every woman's life where she must ask herself, what does success truly mean to me? Too often, we find ourselves measuring our achievements against someone else's standards, chasing after a vision of success that doesn't belong to us. Society, family, friends, and even our own internal voices try to define what success should look like, but the truth is that success is personal. It's not about the titles you hold, the possessions you collect, or the accolades others give you. Success is about being able to stand firm in your own truth, to live a life that aligns with your deepest values and desires. It's about creating a life that feels right to you, regardless of what anyone else might say. We've all been taught that success looks like a straight line: graduate, get the job, climb the ladder, build the family, and so on. But life is not a one-size-fits-all path, and real success is rarely found in the perfect, predictable steps that others expect you to take. True success is found in your ability to define it for yourself, to carve out your own journey, and to embrace the freedom that comes with living on your own terms. It's about being unapologetic in your choices, even if they don't fit the mold. It's about stepping off the beaten path and creating your own. This doesn't mean that you won't face challenges or setbacks along the way. It doesn't mean there won't be hard work and sacrifice. What it means is that as you define success on your own terms, you are doing so in a way that honors who you are, not who the world wants you to be. You are free to pursue the things that set your soul on fire, to chase after the dreams that only you can see. You are free to decide what success looks like in your life and how you want to measure it without seeking validation from anyone else. Success is not the same for every woman. For some, it might mean building a career that is groundbreaking and world-changing. For others, it may be raising a family with love and purpose. For others still, it might be finding the balance between career, passion, and personal fulfillment. Whatever your version of success looks like, it is yours and yours alone to define. No one else's opinions or expectations should dictate the life you build. The courage to define your success comes from within. It comes from the deep conviction that you are worthy of living a life that feels fulfilling to you, regardless of whether others understand or agree with your choices. It comes from letting go of the need for approval and embracing the fact that your journey is uniquely yours. In the moments when others doubt you or question your path, you must trust that your vision for your life is valid and worth pursuing. You don't need anyone's permission to live your truth. When you begin to define success on your own terms, you take the power back into your own hands. You stop waiting for external validation, and instead you start trusting your instincts, your desires, and your inner compass. So you understand that success is not a destination, but a journey, one that you get to shape and mold. And as you walk that journey, you will find a peace and a fulfillment that can never be measured by anyone else's standards. Because the only measure that matters is the one that you hold for yourself. When you look in the mirror, you'll know that you are living the life you were meant to lead, and that is the truest success of all. Perseverance is more than just the ability to keep going when the road gets tough. It's the quiet force that shapes the life you leave behind. It's the relentless determination to stand firm in the face of adversity, to rise after every fall, to never give up no matter how many obstacles stand in your way. The legacy of perseverance is not found in the moments of ease, but in the moments where you chose to keep pushing forward, even when it felt like everything was working against you. It is in those moments that your true strength is forged, and that strength, once built, becomes the gift you pass on to the world. When you look back on your life, what will you remember most? Not the times when everything came easy, but the times when you were tested, when you were pushed to your limits, and yet you found the will to keep going. Those moments of perseverance are where your story is written. They are the chapters that define who you are and who you become. Perseverance is the foundation on which you build your legacy, the mark you leave on the world. It is the courage to face failure, the strength to overcome doubt, and the resilience to stay the course when it would be so much easier to quit. What many people don't realize is that every time you choose perseverance, you're not only changing your own story, you're shaping the stories of those who will come after you. Your perseverance becomes a model, a guiding light for others to follow. It becomes the example that others look to when they're facing their own struggles, their own trials. When you refuse to quit, when you keep fighting for your dreams, you show others what's possible, even when the odds are stacked against them. The legacy of perseverance is not built on grand gestures or extraordinary moments. It's built on the quiet, consistent acts of courage, the small but significant steps that add up over time. It's the times when no one is watching, when you're working alone in the dark, when you keep going even though the world may not acknowledge your efforts. These moments are the ones that shape your legacy the most, because they are the true test of your character. And when you persevere through the difficult seasons of life, you emerge stronger, wiser, and ready to pass on that strength to others. When you face struggles, remember that your perseverance isn't just for you. It's for the generations that will follow in your footsteps. Your children, your family, your friendly, they are all watching you. They are learning from the way you handle hardship, from the way you rise after a fall, and from the way you refuse to give up. Your legacy is not defined by the things you accumulate or the titles you achieve, but by the impact you make on others through your unwavering determination. The more you persevere, the more you inspire others to do the same.